Hey everybody, welcome to another quick video with Beth and myself, Brent. Beth's in real estate, I'm in mortgage, and specifically just talking to those of you in the group here that are consider yourself introverts and are in the real estate or lending community. So if you've not yet shared maybe the group with some of your friends or colleagues, we'd ask that you go ahead and do that. We love sharing these ideas and just getting a lot of feedback as well. So along with that, if you got any comments, throw them in the post here as well. Love to tackle them on an upcoming video. So, Beth, we were talking today about what we're going to share with the group, and it's November, coming up on the holidays, upper Midwest. The weather's changing. We just went through daylight savings time. That's darker earlier. Interest rates, although some volatility there, they're not low by any means. Inventory is still a struggle. Boy, am I inspiring with this intro, right? But what do we do, Beth, when we just kind of lack that motivation or just don't really feel like doing anything and kind of like self-sabotage, I think is where we get into a little bit. But I'm going to tee this one up for you, Beth. Give some advice or some feedback there.
Sure. And I would say like the advice and the feedback is coming because I'm coming from this very same place that I'm not always in a good mood and my business isn't always rolling smoothly. And I don't ever always have like the phone ringing and leads coming in. And in the Midwest, when the holidays hit and the cold hits, a lot of buyers pump their brakes and a lot of sellers think, I'm going to chill until, the snow starts to melt. And so it tends to be a slower time of year. And naturally, I feel like because a lot of us are high achieving introverts, when we have more time, we start to almost like let the fear creep in. Or when we're not busy, like we almost become completely unmotivated because we don't have a lot on our schedules. And then you can kind of just get in this slump. And if I'm honest, like I've been in this slump in these last little bit of time. And so I've needed a coach to kind of give me some ideas of what to do. And one of the first things she said is it's really easy for all of us, whether we're in business life or home life, to look at the end of the day and pick out the big problem. Like, oh my gosh, I got a flat tire and I was late to work. And my coach really focused on what if you just sat down at the end of the night and wrote down the things like that went well or that you were grateful for. And because real estate and lending is really hard right now. And we're hearing a lot more no's and we're hearing a lot more, we're just going to wait. We're hearing a lot more, oh my gosh, how are we supposed to survive in these rates? We also have less money coming in. And so it's normal for all these kind of things to feel a little bit depressing. But if we write down on paper some things that went good for the day, I think it just mentally keeps you a little bit higher, which is good.
So focus on the positives. Some may call it like a gratitude journal as well of just things that you're grateful for, things that have went well. You also hit on, we're in a business. It's very cyclical, but it's not, think of like in the Midwest, you got your farmers. It's very much seasonal. Ours is cyclical, but it's maybe some stuff that's out of our control. Yeah, there's some seasonality to it, but I think of all the times throughout the last 18 years, I guess, where I remember those conversations talking to my wife. It's like, oh, things are really slow. I don't know if we're going to, and then 2 months later, it's the exact opposite again. So it's never like perfect or even like a gradual increase in business. It is a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And I think just recognizing that how we feel now is probably going to be drastically different in 2 months kind of takes the pressure off that, because let's face it, even if we got really busy right now and all these transactions were happening, they don't close for another 30, 60, 90 days anyway. So it's very much just focusing on kind of what we can control now. And I think that's a big thing to look at.
That was actually my second tip, was like focusing on the things you can control, which is like, I can control how many people I reach out to and talk to. I can control throwing a client event. I can control asking somebody to lunch. I can control going to a coffee shop to work or going to my office. So focusing on the things you can control. And then I'll just add, for me, I really just look at pure numbers. And sometimes those can make you feel worse. But for me, generally, my third quarter and my first quarter are always slower. It's just typically what happens. So when I get here every year and the roller coaster is still the same, and every November, December, I start to freak out, like, am I going to be successful in 2024? I do that every single year. So I go back and look at the numbers. I say, okay, well, my volume was really only X for the first quarter of 2023. It's not like I'm trying, my expectations need to be way up here. I always know those quarters for me are slower. And that helps me kind of get out of that fear that creeps in, because I just set my own expectations looking at what the past year was.
Definitely. And I would guess, Beth, anyone listening to this can relate to you as well. I know I can. It's very much a cyclical thing, but I think the key there is you're not alone in some of those thoughts. But how do you react to them? Do you just like, woe is me? And then it's almost like a self-fulfilling thing where it's going to continue the downward spiral? Or is it, okay, what can I do today that might help me, 30, 60, 90 days down the road? So anything else, Beth?
Yeah. So my last little tip is, again, from my coach. Her name is Marley, and she's fabulous. And she basically had me think about one day was, who are you feeding, the black wolf or the white wolf? And so think of it as like the black wolf is the one that says you're not good enough and this year is going to really suck because you've never survived interest rates this high before. And my friend just left the mortgage industry, so probably that means I'm next. That's the black wolf. And then the white wolf is feeding with positivity, love, grace, self-respect, motivation for knowing that you are a true professional and you're good at what you do. And you do have some control in what feels like an uncontrollable market sometimes. So for me, I really have to visualize that every morning, like before I get out of bed, and make that choice of like, what wolf am I going to feed today? The black one or the white one? And if I step out of bed with the true intentions of feeding the white wolf, again, it keeps the fear from creeping in. It helps the motivation stay stronger. And so that was kind of just my last little piece of advice and visualization for you.
Awesome. Excellent stuff. Mindset, more than anything right now, can help us kind of weather some of this and actually help us prosper in the year ahead. So, guys, if you're watching this, you've got some thoughts on that, put it in the comments, or if you don't want to put it in the comments because maybe it's a little bit too personal for the topic, feel free to message us too. I'm sure we'd love to chat with you on that. But let's all maybe share some ideas, put it in the comments here, or even share on the page just some different things that are working, maybe share some wins and help kind of all of us set ourselves up for a good year ahead. So thanks again, Beth. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll be back again soon.